Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, July 20th, and we are entering the last week of this class today. And as usual, at the beginning of each week, I would like to give you a little video preview of what is coming up in the next few days. As you know, the last project, the main project for this week and for this class is the white paper. And the first draft of the white paper is due tonight at midnight. So I wanted to use this opportunity to tell you a little bit more about this first draft assignment in particular, beyond what you read in the project description. One thing I want to emphasize from the start is the need for any kind of argument, any kind of statements you want to make should be based on solid research. This is not only a requirement of all academic writing, as you know by now, but it's only a very specific requirement of the genre of the white paper, is that writers of white papers do not make their statements, do not make their recommendations on whatever preconceived ideas and notions and feelings and hunches they might have had, but rather on the results of solid research which they conduct before they make those recommendations. Therefore, as you read on the website, the first draft assignment will be focusing on finding and compiling such credible and solid research which would later let you make your statements, your recommendations, your arguments. So again, please remember and please keep thinking about this assignment as a research-based assignment, and keep thinking about the first draft, the purpose of the first draft as finding and compiling and presenting research, relevant and credible research on your topic. A couple of things about what would be considered relevant and credible. Relevant, obviously, is some research that allows you to make conclusions about your specific issue, your specific topic, not about the internet in general, not about how important or interesting or maybe questionable using the internet is. But again, remember that your topic has to be related to the topic of the public sphere. And so once you've selected your subject that is related to the public sphere, once you've selected your issue that you want to explore, your research has to be relevant to that issue. For example, let's say you're studying the new journalism, electronic journalism online, and how it perhaps is displacing traditional journalism in the public sphere. Your research should not be just about the internet in general or just about journalism in general. You don't have time for that. Your research needs to focus on the issue of the interaction, the relationship between new online electronic journalism, or citizen journalism, if you will, and the traditional journalism media, journalism venues, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. Now, a couple of words about credibility. Websites, as you know, can have various degrees of credibility. Actually, all texts can have various degrees of credibility. But it is perhaps a little more difficult to figure out what is credible on the web, as you know by now. Now, I'm not saying that websites and the web should not be used for research. I'm all in favor of it. And I'm thinking that perhaps the bulk of your research, if not all of it, will come from the web. But as you look at your sources, consider some basic questions. Who is the author of the source that you're about to use? Can you tell that this author is a credible person? Can you tell that the information that is being presented is credible, relevant, up-to-date, and so on? So if you find something that looks really good as a source for your white paper, ask yourself these basic questions about its relevance and its credibility before you use it in the paper. And of course, most importantly, your sources will have to help you accomplish something in the paper. You can't just throw a source in there thinking that the source will speak for itself. You need to comment on that source, you need to let your readers understand how to read that source, what conclusions to come out out of that source, and so on. So again, the first draft, the focus of the first draft of the white paper needs to be on the presentation of research which would prepare you for the recommendations, the development of recommendations and conclusions in the second draft. I understand that the time is limited. I understand that we're not trying to write an all-encompassing work that answers all the questions about the subject that you chose. I understand that we have limitations, but within those limitations, please apply due diligence and look for sources, look for research that really would help you build a perhaps a short but credible and persuasive work. I will conclude today's message by reminding you that this is a group assignment and that you need to be working in the groups together. One thing I will really emphasize this time is that the paper will not look like it's written by 3 different people that posted different things. It has to be a collaboratively written paper. Here's what I mean by this. If you decided to split your tasks at the first draft stage and say, okay, one person looks for research, the other person compiles it, the third person does something else, that's fine. But remember that after revising this draft, this should look like a paper written by a team, not by separate people. It has to have a consistent style, a consistent voice, a consistent tone. There cannot be any distinctions between, well, the first part was written by Joe and the second part was written by Amy, and so on and so forth. This is a paper that you work on together. And as you revise, as you write, consider the issues of voice, tone, and whether it flows together as something that can be seen as collaboratively written by several people, not a compilation of separate contributions from 3 or 4 different writers. I will emphasize that again after I comment on the first drafts, and I will give you some specific suggestions as to how to achieve that consistency and that unity among all of your contributions. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great week. If you have any questions, as always, please let me know. And I look forward to reading your first drafts tonight and commenting on them. Goodbye.